Okay, everybody. So let's start. You just converse with Andy, so you know him. Well, he's a great guy, as you can see. And he's English. So that's great.
Oh my God.
Finally, we've got a native speaker, during workshop. So that's great.
I was also a native speaker in Polish. What are you talking about?
but you're not English. Sorry, I'm from an English speaking club, so sorry to that. So, Andy is from my club. He's from Łódź, the leadership, and he came us here in order to tell us about
Eva, for example, some exciting recent developments in language acquisition, and he will also tell us how we can use learning different languages to excel in our own language and self-development in general.
Great.
So the stage is yours.
Thanks. Yes, it's a last-minute change, and thank you all for coming to my talk. I got a telephone call yesterday evening, just before I was going to bed, saying, "Andy, can you do a talk?" And I was like, "Okay, give me 30 minutes." Like, so, okay, I'll do it. So one of the skills of Toastmasters is improvisation. It's not pure improvisation. I have planned something, but please bear in mind that the amount of planning that has gone into my speech today is probably considerably less than our other colleagues here today. What did I do? My first thing, I thought, okay, my God, I've been asked to speak, I've got 12 hours to prepare. So I looked on the internet at the agenda, and I saw things, improvisation skills. Okay, that's going to be good, but I arrived too late for that, unfortunately. I saw preparation is the key. What else did I see? There was, and also Klaus, I think, later on today, is going to be talking about being afraid on... Well, it's too late to do, really, quite frankly. So what I am going to do is I'm going to take you on a journey. There's going to be a lot of speaking. The screen will be for you to create your own pictures because my PowerPoint skills require considerably more than 12 hours. And so we're going to be going on a journey. We're going to be doing a bit of history, but I hope interesting history. We're going to be doing a bit of science. We're going to be doing a little bit of language, but not linguistics. And we're going to be doing some self-development, I hope. And maybe what I'll do is I'll start from the very beginning. But by the way, I hope I'm not speaking too fast. If I'm speaking too fast, then please kind of look uncomfortable and I'll slow down. But what I'll do is I'll tell you a little bit about myself, first of all, to give a context. As Łukasz said, I'm from Łódź, Toastmasters Club, but originally I'm from Britain. I've been living here in Łódź for almost 17 years, but I still find the English language much more comfortable to speak than the Polish language. During that time, I started off just as a normal ELT teacher, helping people pass first certificate, advanced, la-di-da. But then I started doing some more courses, both in language learning, but also in NLP and in coaching. And as we developed, me and also my wife, we developed in those areas, we started to develop our way of helping people communicate in second language, in our case, in English. And last year, we were very privileged to meet an international executive coach from Ericsson College International in Vancouver, who we discovered they are in the process of creating a new daughter company from Ericsson College International. Ericsson College? Do you know what I'm talking about? No. Yeah, it's the biggest provider of coaching in the world. They work in 40 different countries and they provide training throughout the world as well. And they are in the process, and we joined them last year in that process of helping second language acquisition become available to everybody. So I'm going to share that with you, and then also beyond there, we're going to find out how we can actually use those skills to improve our own self-development skills. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to tell you a little story, so please be comfortable. There's going to be a story. And this story is set in about 20 years ago in the past, in the early 1990s. And it was in Vancouver, in Canada. And there was an old grandmother, and she was one from the First Nation tribes, which is politically correct language for Indian. She was from a First Nation tribe, and she only spoke her native language, which was Kwi Ki Utul. She was one of the few Kwi Ki Utul native speakers left in the world, and she had a problem. She had nobody to speak to, because her children had died, they had moved away, and her grandchildren had been brought up in Vancouver, so they only spoke English. They didn't speak a word of Kwi Ki Utul. So what happened is she sat down with a very special person, who I'll tell you more about, and she started to speak with the aid of a translator. She was speaking Kwi Ki Utul and English, and this other person was listening, and then asking questions in English. The granny was replying in Kwi Ki Utul. The guy was taking notes. And then, after 1 hour, something miraculous happened. The guy started speaking Kwi Ki Utul. They started talking about cooking. They started talking about recipes. He was asking her questions. Her face lit up, because suddenly she had someone to speak to. After all of these years of not having someone to speak to, she had someone to speak to. This guy was decoding her language. This person, his name is, because he's still around, his name is Paul Janulus. Has anyone heard of Paul Janulus? It's a great shame, because he's one of the most remarkable people in the world, in my opinion, and certainly in the world of language learning, he is the most remarkable person. And how could that be? Well, he speaks...
Could you please write it down?
His name?
Yeah.
Yep,
Certainly. Paul Janulus. I'll put the pause button on for a second. Right? Second story. Let's start a second story. Forget about that now. You might have noticed there's 42 here. Tomasz, you were saying something about the what's 42 for you?
It's the answer for all the questions.
For all the questions, it's the answer to life, the universe, and everything. Yeah. But for some people, understand it's the answer to life, the universe, and everything. Anyone else got any? Is anyone a programmer? IT programming?
I was one.
No. Because
sometime.
There's some music now. The number 42, if I remember, it's in some language it's like denoted by an asterisk or something. It's a special number.
ASCII code.
Sorry?
ASCII code.
Oh, right, thank you. Okay, so it's like sort of an asterisk as well. 42, does it mean anything for anyone else?
Level 42, there was a music group like that.
Level 42. Okay, level 42. Well, in mathematics, you can make a magic cube. Magic cube in mathematics? And so, like, with every number from 1 to 42, you can create a three-dimensional magic cube, and every 9 digits will add up to 42, something like that. I was in Rossmann this week, and an old lady, a sweet old lady, pushed in front of me in the queue, and for me, it's a usual occurrence. And miraculously, she paid for her goods, and it came to 42 zloty and 42 grosz, which I thought was kind of freaky as well. But okay, so it's a magic number. I heard somebody in Polish saying, "Are we going to be talking about like sort of mysticism or spiritual?" I think like in some magic as well. It's 42, 23. They're magic numbers as well. 4 plus 2 is 6. Okay, but in the context of what I'm talking about, let's take the pause button off. Paul Janulus. The reason 42 is important in connection with Paul is in 1985 he was entered into the Guinness Book of World Records for being the most proficient speaker of foreign languages. Fluent speaker of foreign languages. Guess how many foreign languages they said he spoke? 42. Yeah, 42. He was disappointed. He thinks that's not true, because they didn't count the English language, and that would have been 43 languages fluently. He also, at the time, spoke another 20 languages, but according to the test that the Guinness Book of Records people gave him, they weren't fluent. It involved a 2-hour conversation with a native speaker of every language, and it was watched, observed by the people from the Guinness Book of Records, and the native speaker was asked, and yep, 42, he did it. Was he some savant? Is he some magician? The simple answer, as we're going to find out today, is no. He didn't have any special training. He wasn't some incredible, brilliant person. He didn't excel at school. He was a court translator in Vancouver, and every new language he learned meant more money. So quite simply, he had motivation to learn new languages. Every new language meant potential new customers, clients, I suppose, and so he got up to 42 fluent, which meant that he was able to use those as translation tools. Okay, and so...
Plus you said 20 not fluent.
Yeah.
60.
And English.
And English as well. So, but at a very high level. I mean, for example, I don't know. I speak Greek, right? So cello, agorajo, kafe. That's not really very. It's not very fluent. But I speak a little bit. I think his level was much higher than that.
My question is, so altogether 63.
Correct.
More or less, yeah.
And in his whole lifetime, he studied up to 80 languages as well. But very good, sort of acceptable in court. Because I guess, like me, being the translator in Greek in court probably wouldn't be a good idea.
The question, how many languages roughly we have in the world?
6,000.
6,000?
Yeah. Okay. So, what happened? There's a person, Robert Dilts. Dilts?
Of course, I know him.
Yeah? Can you say something?
He's one of the mentors and influential people on NLP.
Mm-hmm.
He invented something called the Dilts pyramid.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he's also really a good one in terms of the language. I don't know how it's in English. The ability to use the language to influence people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
Persuasion.
but NLP is one of these main areas of expertise, I think.
He was one of the kind of founders of NLP. He was working with Bandler in the early 70s with NLP. Robert Dilts got to hear about Powell, and he was very interested. How is it possible that this guy could do this? I guess you guys are sitting here. You're not native English speakers. You all speak English. How many years did you or have you been learning English?
Oh, man.
Yeah, I don't know.
Whole
Probably some
life.
numbers. All life.
25.
25 years? 20?
15 to 20.
15, 20? Yeah, okay. So, again, a little bit of mathematics. 42 times 20. If we go the traditional route, it's not really going to work, is it? So obviously, Powell had something which, as Tomac said, there's something with NLP. NLP is interested in how the brain can work very, very efficiently. So that's why Robert Dilts got interested in it. At the time, Marilyn Atkinson was working with Robert Dilts on the neurological levels of experience, and she asked Powell if she could study him. And so she spent, Marilyn Atkinson, who is the founder of Ericsson College International, she spent 7 years observing Powell and trying to work out how did he do it. And there were some incredible, how can we say, there were some incredible mirrors between his methods and the methods of NLP as it was, and coaching as it was in its infancy back then. And so Marilyn was in the process of trying to map how it was possible for Powell to do this. What we could say is all of us can speak a language fluently because we're all native speakers of our own language. So quite simply, all of us have got the hardware to learn a language. Quite simply, Powell had created the software. Basically, he had discovered the code on how to learn a language. Okay, not complete improvisation. I've got a computer hidden here, as you might have seen. Right, okay, how about this? Let's pause button again. Beep. And now we're going to move on to something different. What I would like to do, we're going to do a bit of imagination, okay? You're welcome to, please be relaxed. You can either shut your eyes, or maybe, because we're going to be making pictures, so you can look at the big screen there, like maybe that can be your screen for making pictures. What I would like to do, no one's shutting their eyes, you're staring at me. What I would like you to do, I don't know, maybe here on the screen, I want you to create a picture, okay? In this picture, we've got 3 people. One person is 100 years old, a 100-year-old person. Maybe an old man, maybe an old woman, okay? The next person is 50 years old. Man, woman, maybe someone from your family. The third person is 3 years old. Maybe they're members of the same family. They're all there. They're all in perfect mental and physical health. Hearing is fine, speaking is fine. They all speak the same languages. Okay? See? What I would like you to do is imagine those 3 people, and when 2 of them, choose 2 of them, 2 of those people trying to communicate some requirement, some need. You don't tell me, but please just imagine the 2 people speaking to each other, those people who can easily communicate with each other. Okay.
3-year-old and the 100-year-old.
3-year-old and a 100-year-old?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Maybe the others have got different ideas. Okay. And then maybe which of those people could you see as the center of attention? Taking the attention of the other 2 people. Okay. You can open your eyes now and put pause button onto another point. Cool. Hey, is anyone good at art here? You got any artists in the house? Yeah? Come on.
Yeah,
Come on, please. Head looking that way. Person looking that way, please. Big head. Whole piece of paper. Yeah.
Oh my god. Did she hesitate?
Wait.
It's
It's gonna be ugly. Smile. Oh, jeez.
Okay, that's perfect. Perfect. Oh, no, okay. Thank you. No, he is. Right, okay. Here's something I prepared before. Okay, now here's the science bit. Okay, here's the science bit. How many brains have you got?
1.
Well, about 3.
About 3?
Yeah.
Any higher?
Depends on the model.
Sorry?
Depends on the model.
So it depends on the model? Okay.
That's why I said about.
Okay, but in brain science, like in evolution, we can talk that we've got 3 brains. Okay. I'll do this. Like, I apologise for my destruction of. Okay. This is our first brain. It's called the reticular brain, or in easier language, we can call it the reptilian brain. All animals that live share this brain. It's called reptilian because it's been around for about 100 million years. The dinosaurs had reptilian brains, and we have it as well. It's right, if I got this right, and if there's any neurologists here, please help me. But basically, it's right at the top of the spinal cord, and it's the little bit there, and it's to do with reptilian things. Okay, maybe Łódź, can you come here for a sec?
I cannot draw.
No drawing. Okay, thank you. Big hand. All right, okay. Łukasz's reaction is like this. That was the reticular brain. That's the reptilian brain. It's to do with fight or flight. Yeah, just like when we. Is anyone the owner of this telephone?
Answer and say I love you.
Yeah. I love it.
Somebody used to know.
Yeah.
Okay. the reticular brain. Also, this part of the brain is very much associated with the kinesthetic part of our actions, kinesthetic movement. Yeah, like Łukasz was like that. It's to do with fight or flight. Okay, there's a second brain. Anyone know technical words or anything?
Mammal brain.
Okay, very good. It's the mammalian brain, and it's something like this. Okay, and that's something that we also share with mammals. It's the mammalian brain. It's officially called the limbic system, and that's been around for about 50 million years. And this, do you know what it's responsible for?
Emotions. Heart rate.
Social stuff.
Emotions, social stuff, also auditory, as in like speaking and so on. But also, it's a very binary way of working with things. It's kind of yes, no, black, white, and so on and so on. Okay, and then we have like the big bit, not quite that shape. It's called the cerebral cortex, and that's the bit that we have as humans. And it's been around for about 2.5, 3 million years in us, and it's responsible for our visual part of our brain, how does it work? It's something that we have that the dogs and cats who've got these, and the snakes and lizards who've got these, they don't have it. What can we do? Let's do some more imagination. You can shut your eyes again, please. Shut. What I would like you to do is imagine this room in 12 hours' time. This room in 12 hours' time will be just before 1 o'clock in the morning. Yeah? What's going on in here?
It's dark.
It's dark? It's dark? The lights are turned off?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Ghosts.
There's ghosts?
It's just like a black box.
It's just like a black box?
Could be cold.
Maybe it's cold as well? Anyone see something different?
Oh, there's somebody's turn. Yeah, he's moving. Whoa, what is he doing? Oh no, oh.
Somebody I used to know.
The phone is still ringing.
The phone. Okay, excellent. The phone is still ringing, and so on and so on. Okay, what we've done in brain terms is something quite remarkable. It's something that other creatures are not able to do. We're able to shut our eyes and imagine something in the future that maybe with the telephone that will not be. So we're able to imagine the future, like an unreal future. We can use it to change the past as well. And it's something that lives in the future, it's something that lives in the past, because our mammalian brain is very much set in the present. It's to do with, we're saying it's like yes, no, it's like immediate needs and so on. Coming back to the mammalian brain, it's to do, I don't know if you were out last night, but it's to do with looking at the watch, thinking, oh, maybe one more beer. Like maybe it's, at the time it's a good idea, but maybe like sort of the future consequences might not be very good. It's when you've got a bar of chocolate and you say, well, maybe one more piece or maybe just the whole bar or something like that. That's the decisions there. It doesn't think about the future consequences, it thinks about the now. Okay, so what can we do? Let's go from the little bit of science to language learning, okay? When we think about language learning, as we said, like this reptilian is very much to do with the kinesthetic element, and the mammalian brain is very much to do with the auditory and the yes, no, black, white. When you think about your schooling and learning at school, I would suggest that you were doing tests and the teacher was giving you marks 1 to 6. In the UK we get A to E, F. And it's like sort of good, wrong, good, wrong. It's very much connected with here. These two brains, if we remember our picture, these two brains are like our 100-year-old and our 50-year-old. Maybe you imagined the idea that the 50-year-old and the 100-year-old person are able to communicate because they've got a shared language. These two have been working in conjunction for 50 million years. As we said, this was 100 million years, this is like 50 million years. 50 million years they've been working together. This bit here, it's a relative newcomer because it's only 2.5 million years old, which is very young in evolutionary terms. So these two kind of work together. It's also to do with safe. As Toastmasters, we've all broken through the barrier of safe. We're all prepared to stand up in front of people and talk. Maybe the first time you were giving your first speech, you felt a little bit uncomfortable. We work on that, we try and improve. It's all connected with here. What we can do, however, is get this brain activated, and if we can get all three working together, we have like an incredible learning machine. Okay. The mammalian brain is very much comfort. It likes doing the same thing every day. Maybe in the morning, cup of coffee. The first thing you do, turn on the kettle, make a cup of coffee. Maybe if you smoke, it's the one which is it's the one that wants you to have a cigarette. Like have a cigarette, feel normal. If you're stressed, like don't have a cigarette, like have a drink. Maybe it's turning on the internet when you get home and checking, what is it, Kudelki or something? That's deeply ingrained in my wife's brain, that's for sure. Okay, what can we do? It doesn't like change, it's scared of change, and this is something that happens in the classroom as well. We don't like change, we're scared, we're punished when we make a mistake in the traditional classroom. Let's go back to what Marilyn Atkinson discovered with Paul Janulus. Basically, he had all three brains working in conjunction, and what it was that he was doing is he got over the problem of sameness. And so the work of Marilyn has led to some breakthroughs in technology. And I'm going to share one of those new advances in technology with you. One moment, please.
Oh, yeah.
As you can see, this is one of the first major technological breakthroughs that we have found. There we go. I used to have hair. Okay. This is one of the first major technological breakthroughs that we have. Silly hats or silly wigs. What's the point? Basically, when we are helping people communicate, and this breakthrough in language, we have run it in China, in Canada, in Russia, and also most recently we're starting in Europe, in Central East Europe, and also Western Europe. And we've been going into banks, we've been going into corporations, and so we got serious business people, and they are wearing silly hats, they're wearing different types of things on their head. Why? Because quite simply, you can't really be worrying about making mistakes when you've got something like this stuck on your head. And also, when you are speaking, your interlocutor, when they're speaking, they've also got a silly hat as well. You're not really concentrating on the errors, you're concentrating on what the hell's on their head there. So basically, this is like our technological breakthrough. I'm not sure how, I don't know, I think I have just a few come out. Have a whole bag. Stop, please. Hats.
Yes,
Big
I
hats.
know.
Hats, please.
Instruction.
Oops. Pass the hats on. Tell you what, wig for you. There you go. Angel wings. See you on. You have hats, please. Would you like a hat? Oh, of course.
Oh, thank you. Oh, cool. Yeah.
Hats. You got my hats there? Oh, okay. A nose. No. My daughter's angel wings. Okay, so okay, I have a monkey left. Carolina, monkey.
Can I have the butterfly?
What is the photo?
Well, it's for your back. I don't know if it's going to. It's for a 5-year-old child. But you can try. Go on, stick it on your head. No, stick it on your head. All right, anyone missing? Oh, there you go.
And here, if you have
No. I'm so sorry. How about this? I've got one more nose. A hairy nose. How many hats are we missing? Everyone got a hat?
Yeah, and still I have some more.
Wow, perfect. Okay, I wasn't planning on
I
that.
read
Okay. Would you like a hat instead of a nose? Yeah? Okay. That's fine. All right, perfect. All right. All right, okay. Do you need some help, Tom, putting the hat on? No hat? Okay, right, fine. Right, so, first of all, basically wearing the hats now, and please, take a moment to look at the person sitting next to you. Please, the person sitting next to you. Okay, good. What they do? What do they do? Right. But hold on. We've got a first piece of technology. We've got a first piece of technology, but still, we can't actually speak. Yeah? All right, so that. We still can't speak in our foreign language. What I'm going to do is, if I may, I'm going to share with you another bit of technology. I'm going to tell you another little story, and then we're going to do some technology with my colleague who does something very good. You don't speak Polish?
Not very good Polish, no.
Excellent. Okay. All right. So let's get rid of the brain. Thank you. All right. So now I guess a little bit more science. Guys, in organisation, there's Maslow. Yeah, Maslow. I think so. There's Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And then following on from that, in the 1960s, 1970s, there's a guy called Bateman who came up with the logical levels, which is to do with kind of experience, what's important for us. And then, as Tomek said, Dilts, in the 1980s, he developed Bateman's logical levels into the neurological levels of experience. I can do a triangle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And so what did Dilts say? He talks about, right at the top, we got who. Okay? Who. And also, if anyone knows about NLP, they kind of remember it like this. A, B, C, D, E. A is like am, as in who. Yeah? Who I am. B, why? Why? Any ideas? B? Because, yeah, okay, or belief. Belief, because is good. And then we've got how. See?
Chain.
Capability. Capability. D. Dilts talked about what, and it was to do with do. Okay. So I'm going to put what there for now. And so do what, and here we got environment. Where, and another question word. Thank you. Okay. What was really interesting, because if you remember the previous story we had Marilyn researching Pal Janulus, okay? And what he was doing when he was speaking to the grandmother, speaking qui, ko, qui, ki, u, tu, thank you, he was making notes, but he wasn't just making random notes like in the class, like sort of like dog PS, like cats and stuff like that. He was kind of creating charts. And what Marilyn noticed was that his charts kind of were like this, okay? Very often it's like who, why, how, what, where, when. Oh, Jesus. And so what developed from there, I'm going to change this a little bit to action. And what? Marilyn Atkinson developed something called universal communication needs, okay? And what we can do is we can plot a language in these different ways. Let me, for example, this is the dangerous bit for me, but we'll see what happens, shall we? Okay. Who? Why? How? Action. What do we have? What? Where? Ooh. When? Thank you. Okay. What Pal Janulus was doing is he was kind of recording the language according to this chart. Dangerous for me. Who, for example?
You.
Okay. Why? There's like in NLP and coaching, there's a special bunch of verbs which are very, very close to our heart. They're kind of like, need, want, love, hate, but let's not talk about hate. Sorry? Believe, like the sort of things which are very, very close to us. As we said, beliefs, yeah? So like belief. So we got, for example, like, love, need, yeah? How is a tricky one, so let's miss it out. Action. Action is kind of like a verb. Can anyone give me a verb? Run, okay. We got like, so let's just make it a little bit grammatically correct. Running.
Go, stay, learn.
Learning.
Breathing.
Drawing, breathing. Okay.
Speculating.
Speculating. Procrastinating. Deindustrializing. Okay. What? What? For example, running, learning. Okay, there we do like English. Yeah, drawing pictures. Breathing air. Okay, running. Where? In the forest. In the forest. In the city. On the beach. You get the idea.
Away.
Sorry?
Away.
Away? Running away. Okay. Maybe running away. When?
Now.
Now?
Next week.
Tomorrow.
On Sundays.
In the evening. On Sundays. Like, I'm sure you can.
Always.
Okay, so what we've done is we're doing something similar to what Powell was doing. Of course, maybe not all of our sentences here make complete sense, but we can see that, well, with English, the word order is very similar. And also, if we think about the development of language, 2001, Space Odyssey, have you seen that film?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. There's many years ago, I lived in Warsaw, and there was no English TV. And I was really, really happy because I turned on the TV, it was a Russian channel, and it was 2001, A Space Odyssey, and I thought, fantastic. Why? Because I could watch 30 minutes of the movie and understand everything, because there's no speaking, if you remember. Yeah? Like at the beginning, it was just like sort of like the monkeys and stuff like that. And if you think about those apes at the beginning of 2001, Space Odyssey, and then their development of language, probably right at the beginning, if you see them, they're fighting, they're just going to go, me, I. Yeah? And then maybe, if we think about the development of language, also, we can see that maybe the sort of progression has gone in this direction. Also, on a very, very basic scale, you can see our triangle from before. So actually, there's actually a correlation between the number of possible words that we can use and what we have mapped it out like this in. Okay, this was something that Powell had done without any training in NLP, without any knowledge of NLP, and Marilyn could see the pattern. She could see that he was using diltzes which were just in the process of being formed. He was using his logical levels to map new languages. Okay, and that brings us to our second amazing piece of technology. Okay. I'll tell you another story. It's very word heavy. I'm sorry. Like, next time I'll bring some pictures. Last year I went on holiday to Greece, not to Catalonia, Zakynthos, very nice island, and we were in the process of proofreading Marilyn's book, which hopefully is going to be published this year. And I read about the different things, I read about the technologies, and we finished proofing the book. I had about 3 more days of my holiday, so I thought, what should I do? Well, I'll start learning Greek. And so I got myself a piece of paper, and I created something for myself, and I started, first of all I used Google Translate, and then with my Google Translate words in Greek, I then went and started speaking to waiters, to people in shops, to the people in the hotel, and by the end of the first day, I went to a taverna, and I ordered an espresso. I ordered a coffee in Greek, and they said, "Oh, wow, how long have you been learning Greek?" So today's my first day, and they were just like, "Whoa!" Like, okay. So, oh, it's a very difficult language. Every language is very difficult. What did I do? I made a chart. That's good. This is our second piece of incredible technology. It's a chart. Typically, a 4x4 chart is best. What goes in each cell, we can imagine, is like one bit of information, bit in a computer sense. Coming back to your lessons, your language learning lessons at school, probably you had the book somewhere with huge list of words in English and words in Polish. Dog, pies, cat, kot, la da 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 da. And we kind of learned like dog equals pies, right? Dog equals pies, and so on and so on. With the development of MRI scans, what people have been able to do, scientists have been able to do, is discover that like that one bit of information, dog equals pies, there's actually much more storage in our brain than just that basic translation. We can fit a phrase into that one bit of information, we can fit pictures, we can fit a translation, we can fit pronunciation. It's possible to fit a whole bunch of stuff into that one little bit of information. We don't have to do the dog, pies, cat, cot, and stuff like that. But for today, we are going to put one word in each box, and I need a volunteer. Maybe there's somebody here who doesn't speak Polish very well. Oh, hold on. Come on. Okay. And maybe there's somebody who does speak Polish very well. Okay, great. Thank you very much. So your name?
Paul.
Paul, okay. And
Roxanne.
Roxanne, okay. Really, where are you from?
Miami.
All right, perfect. And you really don't speak any Polish?
I speak a very little Polish.
Can you say my name's Paul in Polish? Excellent.
Probably.
Okay, good. And Roxanne, I'm going to ask you to write because I thought I was going to write it in Polish. If I make mistakes, you're going to criticize me. So can you write in Polish?
Capital letters?
Sure. Okay, we're going to create a chart. Can you write yeah, please? Okay. Sound. You say "set," don't you? But if you don't say "sound," okay. What else did I do? Kupić. Here in Polish.
People.
All right. Oh, okay. Just think about that. I'm going to give you a test. Pijany in English.
Drunk.
Trzeźwy.
Sober.
All right, okay, very good. Right. Like, sort of like so many people know the word drunk in English, but nobody ever seems to know the word sober. I don't know what that tells me about the Polish nation. No, I'm sorry. Okay, I'd say, yeah, again, please. Muszę. Muszę, yeah, you say muszę, but it's like muszę, like this one word.
You write "l" but not pronounce it.
Okay, speech.
At the end of the word.
Sock. Okay, thank you. Yeah. Lubię. Lubię. Znaleźć. Znaleźć.
It doesn't make sense.
Doesn't matter. Right, okay. What can we put here? Mleko.
Well, it does make sense.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say chciałbym. Chciałbym. Do you know these words?
The yeah is
Excellent. All right. Spróbować.
It's getting louder.
Okay. Can you help? Anything? Someone? you've got a general idea. We've got drinks, yeah? So,
Whiskey.
whiskey, no, that's English.
No,
Like, herbata, herbata.
But herbata or herbaty?
Well, I don't know, however you write it, that's why I needed some help. Herbert down, or something like herbert. Okay, thank you very much. Right. Paul, your job, with the help of our audience, thank you. Which colour would you prefer?
Go with red.
Red, okay, so you go. Right. So now, can we please help Paul with the pronunciation? Paul is going to write what he hears, okay? Doesn't matter, I don't know if you write International Phonetic Alphabet, you can do it IPA if you want. If you don't, just write what you hear.
What I hear.
What you hear, what they say, what you hear. Yeah, well, you can do that, yeah? That's no problem, yeah? Okay, can someone say this, but don't go sound, because you don't say that in a... Huh?
Chce. Chce.
Say.
Chce.
Yeah, just right, say. That's what they say. Cool.
Chce.
Huh? All right, okay.
Muszę.
Muszę.
Say again.
Muszę.
Muszę, okay, cool.
Lubię.
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 Yeah, okay. Ooh.
Chciałbym.
Ciao, bin. Cool.
Kupić.
Kupić.
Beach. Yeah, beach.
Oh yeah, you can do like that.
Well, yeah, just do the easy way. You don't have to try and be so clever. Just write what you hear, yeah? Peach is a word, yeah? Whoa.
Znaleźć. Znaleźć.
Znaleźć.
We don't want to be professors. Knowledge, that's good. Knowledge.
Oh, he'll laugh right here.
Okay, cool.
Spróbować.
Spróbować.
Próbować.
Screwball badge. Okay. Okay, cool. You can do this one, can't you?
Oh yeah.
Piwo. That one? Like,
Sok.
yeah. That one like it looks.
Mleko.
Mleko.
Yeah, this one doesn't change.
Okay. Oh, can you help us?
Herbat.
Herbaty.
Herbatę.
Herbat.
Herbaty.
Teraz herbat.
Herbaty.
Herbat. Okay, do you know what these words mean?
Some of them do, yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to help you, okay? One, muszę? Must. Well, have to. Like, would like. Spróbować, to try. To find. To drink. To buy. Beer, right? Do you know what that is?
Juice.
Yeah.
Milk.
Yeah.
Tea.
Right, okay. So now, what have we got? We've got our chart 4x4, and Paul knows how to say these words, and we've got translation. But from the wonders of modern technology, you might have noticed that it's possible to combine. Yeah, we don't have to go in lines, do we? We can just go, and we've got a bunch of sentences. Yeah.
But we've got declination and not all fit
Yeah.
together.
If Paul says, yeah, chciałbym znaleźć sok, would you understand him? Right, okay. So, Paul, can you, let's test this theory.
Sure.
We're not going for grammatical accuracy, we're going for communication, right? Communication, we're not planning on passing some proficiency in Polish. We just want to do something. Can you say something?
Sure. Ja muszę pić herbatę.
You understand? All right, someone else?
Ja lubię pić piwo.
Oh, yeah.
Very good. Very good. Go on, one more.
One more? Sure. Ja chcę pić piwo.
It's the afternoon, that's okay. All right, okay. But I think maybe let's give a big hand for Paul. Thank you very much. basically, that seems very primitive. It's not perfect Polish, but you understand when he's saying it. And sure, like as I say, we're not out to pass tests at school, because you remember we're out to communicate. And also, one of the tenets of the approach that Marin has developed is love making mistakes. Love making mistakes. So very often our experience of like acquisition is to do with like wrong, it's kind of Pavlovian response or whatever, and we're scared of making mistakes, but it's only through experimentation that development happens. Yeah. So we're doing sort of stand up in front of people. What we have done, and the most incredible thing, because I've been doing this with English, with people who know a bit of English, and we were spending 2-3 days doing this. 2 weeks ago we were in Lithuania, and we were giving, it was training, we're using the language, but then it was also kind of skills training to do with personal development and so on. We discovered, to our horror, that 3 guys spoke fluent English. So this is going to be a little bit easy for them, but luckily our colleague from Berlin was there, so we said, okay guys, you're going to learn German. And they said, whoa, okay. For a day, like we've got an hour and a half, and like we've been doing this for a very short time. For a day, they were drilling, they were playing. We use sticky notes, we move words around, and so on. With the help of Thomas from Berlin, these guys were practicing with their German. And the homework after the first day was go home and get some good sleep. So they all went home and had some very good sleep. And then the second day, they were all supposed to give some feedback on how the first day had been. And the representative from the German learning group came up and gave about 4 minutes of feedback in German. And Thomas had to translate for us because the rest of us didn't speak German. And he understood, of course, he was making grammar errors, but after one day, Arturus, everyone in Lithuania is us, isn't it? Arturus. He sort of spoke for 4 minutes in German, and the German guy understood what he was saying. What does this mean? Basically, we're talking about language learning. I'm not here to teach you English because you're here because you do speak English, but we can apply this to other languages. Language learning is one of those things like that people say is the most difficult thing. We've spoken about how long it took. It took 20 years. It took 15 years. It's very hot, that wig, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It took 20 years, 15 years. And basically, if somebody, after one day, is able to communicate in a new foreign language, suddenly they realize that the possibilities are almost endless for other things, something that you go to university for 3 years or 4 years to learn some IT specialist, some sales skills, some interpersonal skills. Anything is possible. So what we have done is we've taken the technology that Powell used and then was developed by Marilyn, and it's to do with a basic language learning concept, which incredibly, I read the book and I thought, nah, it's not true. And I saw people doing it with English, and I thought, well, they probably knew a bit, but totally, a couple of weeks ago, I saw these guys, spoke no German, 24 hours later, they're giving feedback in German. What that does, it suddenly opens them up to a whole other world of possibility. We also use that to go on to, we've learned something during the process. We learn about DILT, we learn about universal communication needs, and so we're able to inject some coaching conversations and so on into it. And the feedback we've got is that people, it started off as a language learning project, but it's suddenly actually become like a personal development. In SAP, like sort of systems, yeah, like German company, is that SAP? They've got a lot of their work is outsourced to China, and SAP in China had a course like this. One of the senior managers, 2 weeks later, had to give a presentation to 2,000 people in Chinese. It's a Chinese lady, and she needed to speak Chinese. And she reported back after that, she felt 100 times more confident in her own language after realizing that sort of speaking, communicating was not something that we had all learned to do. So she discovered that it also helps in her own language. Also, 1 week after Lithuania, we had reports of people sort of increasing their sales basically as a simple result of this. And what else can I tell you? Aha! And also, I don't know if there's nobody from Toastmasters in Indonesia, Oman, or Vancouver, but Toastmasters in those 3 locations are actually interested in using this to develop their foreign language groups, like sort of like the non-native language groups in those regions. So basically, and I think I warned my timing that like maybe it's not going to be a full 90 minutes. I was hoping that we were going to have more foreign people here, but if there's only 2 of us, it's going to be not really working. What we could do is we could be shouting in Polish, but we're not going to do that because you can do it. Basically, the hat is a technology that we use. The chart is a technology that we use. And by putting these things together and getting these 3 parts of the brain working in conjunction, we said like this is kinesthetic, this is oral, like audio, and this is visual. We can get all 3 parts of that brain aligned. It helps in the language learning process, but also in any other development, be it business, be it personal. We can discover that this is a very powerful tool to take things forward. Also, it means that my children are incredibly happy because I'm constantly buying hats and wings and noses, which they keep discovering in my house and playing with. So what I wanted to do today was, as I say, tell you a little bit of history, share a little bit of science with you, and show you the developments that we have been making in language learning. I hope it has been of interest to you. That's what I would like to share with you. Does anyone have any questions?
Can we keep the hat?
No. You can buy the hats. There's a shop near, like up somewhere in Łódź where I got like,
So
they come.
what's the title of the book again? You were saying to me that you read the book. What's the title?
It's Velocity Learning.
So how exactly those 3 parts of the brain are involved?
Okay. What we have not done, because we haven't got the time and so on to do it, as I said, like there are 3 basic areas. There's like kinesthetic, which is movement, right?
But during this process of learning and charts.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's audio and imagination. What we do, and I don't have time to sort of go into great detail about it, is it's very much a... Okay, but I'm not planning on going for another 30 minutes. And it would take a whole day to explain it properly. So basically we use crazy examples, which is using imagination to make it sticky in the head. We're talking because the best way to learn a language is to speak a language. Of course, Paul was making errors in his Polish, but he was speaking the language, yeah? Do you remember any of the sentences?
Ja
lubię piwo.
Ja się pić piwo.
Okay. Yeah, like sort of like we weren't even preparing for that, but like it sort of sticks in your head like that.
So speaking is this medium part, isn't it?
This is responsible for the speaking and getting over the fact that we're making mistakes, as we've got silly hats, so it really doesn't matter if we're making the errors. And we use our imagination because we also create our own charts using crazy examples. We use kinesthetic skills, like very much, sort of, I don't know, put the nose on the hat, and so it's like some kinesthetic areas and so on. It gets kind of crazy. There will be, we've got videos of the people in Lithuania dancing on tables and jumping, and God knows, like, I'm sure the health and safety people would not be very happy. But it's getting all 3 of those working together in conjunction, and it just has very powerful results, as I say, not only in the language learning setting, but also if you get all of these aligned from any learning setting, it's a great way. Maybe even when you're doing a project or something like that, you could consider in your office putting on silly hats, getting the thought process going. Does anyone know Dr. Zeus? Dr. Zeus?
From the Planet of the Apes?
Maybe.
SEUSS.
Oh, yes.
Yep.
Yeah? There was a really bad film like Cat in the Hat. The Cat in the Hat? No? And there's Horton hatches an egg. Horton hears a who? Yeah? Do you know what I'm talking about? There's like kind of like strange animated cartoons. He was a great player of languages, and we were really happy to discover when he was looking for inspiration, he had a cupboard full of silly hats, and he would go and put a silly hat on to give him inspiration. So I strongly recommend that when it comes to business, if you're involved in the creation process, the first thing that you should do after the weekend is go and find yourself a silly hat, so that you can go and sit down and get the juices, the thought juices going. All right, and also somebody asked about how many languages there are in the world. 6,000 languages, including like regional dialects. This system works with approximately 5,900. So I'm sorry, there are 100 languages in the world which don't work with this, but they're kind of like African languages which involve very developed completely independently of other languages.
So Polish is not one of them.
Polish is?
Is one of the 500,900 or one of the 100?
Well, we don't do that much. No, Polish works nicely, and also if you think about the triangle, the pyramid that we had, and the word order, it works with Polish pretty much as well, doesn't it? So actually, if you were to go and start making charts, it's your project, you can go and start making charts, go and practicing with Polish people, you'll find that the word order that you make pretty much corresponds with the Polish language. Yeah? Okay.
How would you approach learning a language with a different alphabet? Just phonetics.
Mm-hmm. It's to do with communication. We're not setting out to learn to read books at first. We're setting out to create a very good foundation for being able to communicate.
Okay. So first communication, and then as you go, you can just pick up the alphabet and.
I can't read in Polish. Mówię po polsku. Chyba teoretycznie mogłem całe 60 minut mówić po polsku, ale prawdę mówiąc, ja raczej nie mogę czytać po polsku, nie mogę pisać, bo po prostu nie jest potrzebne to, nie? Like sort of. So simply, very often in the modern day, it's just to do a business trip to China, or you've got guests coming from Sweden. Just being able to say a few pleasantries just makes a hell of a difference, yeah. Even if you make a mistake, like as you're actually speaking their language, yeah. Or even if you say to your Chinese people like their beer, don't they? So like if you're able to say, I like to drink beer to your Chinese colleague, so yeah. So you're onto a winner, yeah.
You can survive at least.
You can survive. My survival language. So yeah. All right. Okay. I don't know if you have any more questions. As I say, I hope.
Do you use it?
Sorry.
Do you use it every day? How many languages have you learned?
5,000. I did the Greek experiment, and after 2 days I was just starting to sort of freestyle in Greek. I've now got a project on the case because we have a conference in Turkey at the end of April, and I need to learn Turkish in 2.5 months.
It's an easy language.
Yeah?
Children learn it the fastest from all the languages.
All right, okay,
So,
but I'm 42.
cool.
42.
Even children speak it.
Sorry?
Even children speak it.
Even kids all across Turkey can speak it, no problem. So yeah.
And Andy, I have a question related to this language acquisition. Because when I was learning English, I started quite late because I was 20.
Mm-hmm.
And every morning, I remember before going to school, I was switching on like a CNN, and it was like I was doing eating breakfast, and I was listening passively. Is that a way forward? Like.
If you enjoy watching CNN.
Oh no,
sure.
I wasn't watching. It was just a sound. It was just a sound somewhere there in the background. I wasn't paying attention. I wasn't concentrating on that. Is that like a way forward? Just to be
exposed to the language.
To be exposed to the language.
Yeah.
Not. I didn't understand at the time English at all. I was just exposed day after day.
When I started listening to Troika, I could only understand the weather forecast, and it was just like whoosh, 14. But I just listened, and because also there's good music on Troika. But I now find myself sitting in the car waiting for the interview to finish, because like basically Troika's been very helpful in me learning Polish or learning like, communicating in Polish. So yeah, of course, but like CNN, geez. But then like sort of a long time ago, there was only CNN and BBC.
Well, BBC, there
yeah.
was
Now you can like kind of watch everything on YouTube. It's much better. Yeah. Okay. All right. So thank you very much. As I say, it was an improvised, semi-improvised presentation. I thank you very much for your attendance and your patience, and I hope you've taken something from it, but not the hat. And thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
And now let's try to evaluation. So,
Sure.
So I was asked to improvise and provide an evaluation for Andy. As you guys know, Andy had to put his speech together in about 12 hours. So this whole presentation was put together in about 12 hours. Including sleep, right? Including sleep. So we probably whipped it up in about 90 minutes or something like that. But I really enjoyed Andy's speech. I think, you know, he had a good structure where he said, you know, I'm going to tell you about the history, the science, the language, development. And then he did that. And then at the end, he did the same. He just told you the history, that he told you about the history, the science, language, and the development. What's good when you have a big speech in an audience that you haven't been with before is to, you know, put a little bit of yourself out there so that the audience feels a little more comfortable with you. And Andy did that. He told you about, you know, how he first moved to Poland 17 years ago and his wife. And of course, he told you about that he used his system in Greece to speak Greek. So that was also very, very good. The topic was very interesting, and I think everyone here can relate to that because, as myself, I'm not a native Polish speaker, so I'm here to try to learn Polish and improve my English skills. A lot of you guys here aren't native English speakers, so you're here to learn English, and so this topic itself, improving how you develop your language proficiency skills, is very important to all of us. So it's a very interesting topic, and the whole structure of how Andy had it set up with the history, the science, the brain, was very, very interesting. So I thought that was fantastic. Again, one thing that he also did is he interacted with us. Interaction with the audience with a large group is also very important. He asked questions, he let people talk, he gave us all hats. So that was all very good. A few things for improvement. When he first started, he was a little bit nervous, and so if we had an counter here, they probably would have been ringing a little bell or hitting a little bit. Because as Andy started, he was a little nervous. You could tell that there was just those ums and ahs and ums. So there was a bit many of those. When he was first started too, he's very attached to the chart. He was very close to the chart, not really moving around, interacting with everyone. With a large room like this, you probably want to walk around and kind of touch everyone in every corner. And Andy was kind of like protecting himself with the chart, making sure no one was going to hurt him. So that's just a couple things of improvement. Again, very funny props, you know, a very interesting topic, great organizational structure, being very personal, you know, sharing his own personal experiences, how he used this method, how he came to Poland, etc. So that was all very, very good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for this. Now it's time, I'm bet you're hungry, so it's time for the lunch break. We will come back here exactly, please don't be late, at 2:50. Oh, go on.
Just bon appetit from me.
From me, if you want to give some extra feedback for Andy, you have some pieces of papers there where you can write your evaluation. I'm sure Andy would welcome them.
But please bear in mind I don't read Polish, so do it in English. Yeah.